Hey, what is up? It is Mac, and this is going to be my initial first impression of Need for Speed Payback. This is one that recently came out. I picked it up during Black Friday on the sale on the console. So this is I want to say I put about 10 or so hours into it, something like that. We're going to just go over the brief description of what my initial impressions are. The first thing to note is this is my first game since probably about Need for Speed Most Wanted. Alright, had a little bit of brain fart there, but anyways, Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original one, the first one, I had that for PlayStation 2. That was really fun. That was probably one of my favorite ones. Top 1, top 2, something right up top echelon there. So, I haven't played one since then. High expectations. None of them really stuck out to me. I saw the trailer and whatnot for this one. I was interested. It came out Black Friday, yada yada yada. Long story short, I ended up picking it up on the sale. Let's get into the actual fundamentals of the game. So, one thing that is fun, I enjoy, is just being back in kind of that, it's in between the realistic and the arcade. It's kind of classic Need for Speed aspect. Never takes itself too seriously, but it's also not just a base arcade game. So it kind of fits under that echelon of what you would expect. One thing that is pretty bad about this game, one, the physics are really bad, which I noticed quite a bit. So you got the physics is bad, and then also, as much as I hate to say it, it's an EA game, and just like kind of, as of now, in recent news of EA stuff, this game, in my opinion, has been released and it is not finished. One thing that they try to do is, in order to upgrade your card, they come out with these speed cards, and it's just random. You have to pick one of 3, and depending what you get is what you get to upgrade your car with after a race. It's very random. You don't know what you're getting. You can go and tune up your car before a race. You finish one, you pull a speed card, and you get the same thing you just did, or you pull a speed card and it doesn't even help you. You pull the same one that you did last time. So it's very frustrating as far as the actual customization of the car itself and not the performance, the visual, like what it marketed it was supposed to get back into, say that Most Wanted style, that underground style. That also is back in the game, but it's also locked behind. You have to do a lot of silly challenges to unlock these upgrades instead of just your base storyline progression, or you get them from these loot boxes, whatever they're called, these, I forget, shipments, and they give you some, so it's not like they don't give you anything, but it's also something that you wouldn't want to pay for. As you can kind of see, you really don't get anything that great. It's just very frustrating for the consumer that you have to put up with this type of incomplete game, and EA essentially is turning what could be pretty good games, what great games could be, into just very mediocre, middle of the line, and very frustrating. And it's, as you can tell by the tone of my voice, it's hard to get over. I hope that we can get out of that age where we can just get full complete games, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, let's get back to one of the positive things that's enjoyable. One of the things I really like is kind of just going in the drift mode, or drift aspect car, and going off-road. Doing the off-road races are really fun. Hitting the jumps. I really like the character that is the drift guy. He's part of the drift and sprint. No, drift and off-road. Off-road is what I was wanting to say. Anyways, let's back up real quick. So the character, there's a off-road, and it's basically split up to 3 different characters. It has that Grand Theft Auto style aspect to it. You have a racer and a drag guy. He does the more traditional races. You have a drifter and you have an off-road guy, and he does his races. And then you have a runner, and she does like the kind of cops type of thing. And then once you complete so many of everybody, then you get to do a mission or a heist or whatever with all 3 of those. Alright, so back to the point on hand. The off-road guy, I really like him. It's actually not a bad storyline. It kind of gets you, it's traditional Need for Speed storyline, but it gets you interested. And I like the off-road dude. He's some kind of England accent black guy, and his name's Mac. And obviously hits a point for me, but it's really funny when you go over jumps and stuff. He yells Air Mac instead of, you know, Air Jordan. Anyways, I like the personality that they actually give to him. Going on another note, further, the actual missions where you're all 3 together doing the heist and not, that's actually really fun. They did a pretty good job with those. It's definitely the high point of the storyline, and I do enjoy those. I've only did 2 of them so far, but they kept you intrigued. It was pretty fun. And so going back to what I started with this topic about was the off-road. It's really fun and enjoyable whenever you're going into a turn and you have that perfect combination of your steering, your e-brake, and your throttle. Getting all 3 of those in harmony to get the complete perfect turn and then driving away from the competition. That's really satisfying. That's one of my favorite parts of the game, other than the 3-on-1 story missions combined. So overall, it has its definitely positives. Its negatives is not necessarily, they could be improved. One's the incomplete game, the other that EA's behind it, and it's just traditional EA games these days, sadly, as it seems like. So it has a lot more potential than what it actually is. My verdict is, if you could rent this game, I know we don't rent much in this day of age, but that's kind of where I feel like this game lies. It's fun. Is it worth paying full price? No. If you get it on a deal kind of like I did, maybe. Is it worth just not playing at all? It's fun. So I'd give it somewhere in a 6.5, 7 range out of 10. It has it's fun, it has its positives, but it's just those negatives really hinder it. So if you're thinking about getting this game, you can listen to my review, kind of see a little bit of this gameplay. I hope this helps you if you're on the teeter-totter. And this is Mac, and we'll see you later.